Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's GTA 5 video, we're going to be talking about the real reason why the last couple of Grand Theft Auto Online updates have just not been all that good. So someone on the GTA forum site brought up an interesting topic. They posted something on Thursday. What's with the weekly updates since the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S versions? And they said, okay, maybe this is really just me, and if so, someone please enlighten me. But am I the only one who feels like the weekly updates, since they launched whatever it is they're calling EE now, are ridiculously anemic? I mean, a brand new port of GTA 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online launches for literally the last consoles the game will ever launch on, and not only did it launch with close to zero new content for GTA Online and zero content for single player, but in a potential 6 Thursday updates / drip feed opportunities, there has been nothing but a few lackluster sales and the same old every time. I mean, I know that Rockstar and Take-Two are in business to make money, so I don't think this is being done to intentionally piss people off. I have to ask though, how has there been no actual content other than a handful of HSW vehicles, some new and some old, that you could upgrade, and a small number of extra time trials? If I didn't know better, I would swear that someone at Rockstar is just trying to take the piss at this point. How do you release an all-new version of the game, remastered for new consoles and all, a game with a long and vast history of extensive updates over the past years, and nothing? I would almost understand it if this new subscription service was anything but a big fat nothing burger to milk people out of their money. Then at least I could roll my eyes and be pissed at all the new paywalls. But even that isn't the case. Can someone explain it to me, or at least tell me what I'm getting wrong? And this generated a lot of responses, and I feel like a lot of people have felt like this as well. Just the interest in the last couple of event weeks, there hasn't been any new cars. Then you add on top of the fact that Grand Theft Auto Plus was introduced in the world, and that obviously hasn't gone over all that well. And so we actually got a couple of interesting responses to this that might clarify why the event weeks have been so bad. And this first response comes from Insider Tez Funds 2, who says this: you have to remember that E&E, or the PlayStation 5 and Series versions, was initially planned to release alongside or a bit earlier before the contract update. Parts of the update may have been scheduled as the drip feed for the new versions. And if that's the case, that does make a whole lot of sense, and I'll explain why. So if the PlayStation 5 and new Xbox versions were supposed to come out with the contract would obviously be the main DLC. And then for the weeks to follow, not only would we have the usual drip feed content that we get in terms of game modes and vehicles and new things releasing, but Rockstar could have also scheduled in there the Hal's Special Work stuff for the LS car meet, and they also could have scheduled in the time trials, the new vehicles. They could have done all that, and I do agree. The HSW stuff really does feel like drip feed content, not necessarily something that should come brand new with the DLC. And so because of that, this theory makes sense, and that the new versions of the game weren't supposed to release on their own, but instead were supposed to release with a big DLC like the contract. And that would make more sense why there's so little content that was essentially added on March 15th. And it would also make sense why so much of the content just feels like it's building off of already existing vehicles. So whether it be like the weaponized Ignis, or whether it be the Pfister Astron Custom, they seem like lazy reboots of existing cars that we already have in the game. Now, to at least play devil's advocate here, you could say that there's probably been periods like this in the past where the bonuses just simply haven't been as good, especially over the last couple of years as we've been having fewer and fewer updates to GTA Online, and especially between those DLCs. There's been some years where it's worse. There's been some years where it's better. Now, obviously, once a new update is announced, whether that be later on in the spring or the summer, this is very much likely going to change. Or maybe it'll change after they finish focusing on the career builder stuff. That was a big part of the expanded and enhanced content. So the fact that they're focusing those new career builder branches on what we're getting in the events probably doesn't appeal to a ton of players, especially veteran players, just because if you're not doing the career builder, maybe it doesn't benefit you all that much, or you simply don't like doing maybe like the nightclub stuff one week, then you're not going to really be interested in it. I think if you pair that with what Insider Tez Funds 2 said about how the current gen versions on the PS5 and new Xboxes were supposed to release alongside the contract, which means there would have been a whole lot more content for Rockstar to add and introduce into the game. So I think that's kind of the real reason why the last couple of updates, at least event week updates, have just not been good at all. At least I haven't thought they've been great. Now, I've kind of been picking and choosing the things I do. Like I will log on every week to do the HAL Special Works time trial. I think that's like the easiest thing in the world. And I also think that the fact that it gives a ton of money is really nice. I'll also spin the lucky wheel, see if I can't get myself a free car. I'll always check out if like the prize ride is worth doing. But for the most part, I'm not really going to dip my toe all that much, especially into the career builder stuff. And I think that Rockstar needs a really fascinating DLC update for the spring or summer this year, because they obviously just got a ton of new and returning players for PC, PS5, and the new Xbox versions. And obviously they're going to have this unlocked and untapped potential being on the new systems. I really hope it's something that's not as like boring and plain Jane as the Contract Part 2. Don't get me wrong, the Contract was a lot of fun, but I'd like to see Rockstar dip their toe into something that maybe fans have been asking for, whether that be big Vinewood Hills mansions, like actual mansions, or whether that's, expanding to a place like Liberty City. We've seen that in the past, obviously, with Cayo Perico. That was an expansion. Or whether it's something like the Mile High Club building opening. We've seen Rockstar do that in the past, creating brand new buildings on top of existing structures. I mean, just think of the Diamond Casino and Resort replacing the Be Lucky Los Santos Casino. So it's happened, it's possible, it's been done in the past, and I'd very much like to see Rockstar do that for the next DLC. And hopefully, now that they have the timing stuff out of the way with DLC and these PS5 and Xbox versions out, there won't be this ridiculous gap, which is kind of what we're seeing right now, where there's just not a lot of good content. And the only other thing I could say is be prepared for a new wave of GTA Plus bonuses, discount sales, and more. That's going to be happening over the next couple of days. So the bad news might kind of get worse before it ultimately gets better. Luckily, the month of April is ending as we get closer to the month of May. That's usually when we're starting to get around DLC time. And if I was a betting man, I would say Rockstar's probably going to hype this update up a lot. We also know that there is a Take-Two Interactive earnings call happening in the month of May. So because of that, it could be a very exciting month, not only for other Rockstar projects, but for GTA 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online as well. So that's definitely something we're just going to have to keep an eye out on. But that really does explain why the updates over the last couple of weeks have, quite frankly, just kind of sucked really badly. Let me know what you guys have thought about these previous updates ever since the PS5 and Xbox versions have come out. Have you liked them? Have you not liked them? Let me know what you guys are thinking in those comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. You want to stay up to date on all the latest GTA and all the Rockstar Games videos that I'll be doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.